There comes a time in life when the calendar seems to flip faster than ever before. 60, 70, even 80. These numbers, once distant and unimaginable, now greet you every morning in the mirror, woven into the lines at the corners of your eyes, the silver that gently dusts your hair, the rhythms that shape your day. And yet, if you listen closely, you'll discover that the heart does not age at the same pace as the body. Deep within, there is still a quiet longing for meaning, for peace, for connection. As you rise each morning, sometimes with a groan, sometimes with gratitude, you may find yourself reaching for your glasses, perhaps wincing at a familiar ache in your knee or marveling at the steady, loyal beating of your heart. The home around you, whether bustling or still, holds echoes of voices from years ago. The laughter of children now grown, the footsteps of a partner gone before you, the creak of the same floorboard you once tiptoed across, holding a birthday cake or a secret. In these moments, the past is so close you can almost reach out and touch it. It is natural, then, to remember. To let your mind wander back to days that felt brighter, simpler, when your body moved with ease and the world seemed, at least in memory, a little kinder. You might find yourself saying, or perhaps only thinking, "Back in my day, things were better." There is comfort in these words, a soft nostalgia that wraps itself around your heart like an old quilt. You remember neighbors who watched over each other, Sunday dinners that stretched for hours, a time when promises were kept and families gathered every holiday without fail. But the gentle trap of memory is that, over time, it can become a prison. If you hold too tightly to what was, the present slips by unseen, like sunlight filtered through a dusty window. You might notice that your grandchildren, your children, the young people around you seem impatient with stories of the past. You sense a quiet distance forming, a gap that can widen each time you measure today by the yardstick of yesterday. The world today feels noisier, faster, sometimes incomprehensible. Yet, if you linger too long in longing, you risk missing the beauty that still surrounds you. The ease of calling a loved one across the country in seconds, the abundance of knowledge at your fingertips, the resilience of communities shaped by new challenges. There is a sacredness to the present moment, a kind of quiet magic that cannot be reclaimed once overlooked. It's there in the warmth of your coffee cup, the sunlight through the kitchen window, the music of a bird singing outside, the simple act of breathing in and out. To honor the past is noble, but to plant your feet firmly in the present is the only way to fully live the days you still have. And then, on some afternoons, when the house is quiet and your thoughts turn inward, another phrase sneaks into your mind. "I'm too old to change." You hear it in your own voice, or perhaps in the words of friends who have resigned themselves to routines, to aches, to a life grown smaller by fear or habit. The belief settles over you like a heavy blanket, thick, comforting, and ultimately suffocating. There is a subtle danger in these words, for they can convince you that your story has already been written, that your purpose was left behind somewhere in the flurry of earlier years. But if you listen deeply, you know that the heart hungers for newness until its very last beat. Age, you soon realize, is never what truly stops you from transforming. It's resistance, a quiet, stubborn voice that insists it's safer not to try, that change is for the young, that you have earned the right to settle into predictability. But freedom does not belong only to those with unwrinkled faces and quick steps. It belongs to the mind willing to shift, to the soul that dares to say, "Let me try just once more." You are not too set in your ways, not truly. Even now at 65, 75, or 85, you are still becoming. You can still try a new food, read a new book, take up a gentle exercise, or forgive yourself for things long past. You can wake up tomorrow and decide quietly to make peace with someone, or even with yourself. As long as you are breathing, you are still writing your story. But the heaviest burden of all, perhaps, is regret. 5 words haunt many hearts. I wish I had. They echo in the stillness of night, in the pauses between conversation, in the memories that sneak up unbidden. Maybe you wish you had traveled more, loved more openly, spoken your mind, made amends, or simply taken better care of yourself. Regret can feel like a fog swirling through your memories, telling you that it is too late, that you have missed your chance. But the past, as much as we revisit it, is carved in stone. Your future, though, remains soft and malleable, waiting for the gentle hands of today to shape it. You might find yourself replaying old mistakes, wishing for a different outcome, but with each new sunrise comes a small, stubborn hope. What can I still do? Perhaps it's a word of kindness to a neighbor, a new habit picked up with patience, a blessing spoken quietly into the world. Even a small act, a single step, can change the path ahead. You are not finished. You are not stuck. There is still time to create something beautiful, something healing, something real. Over time, you may notice other patterns, habits that once felt essential, now revealed as gentle thieves of your peace. You may remember the years spent chasing approval, not only from your peers, but from the younger generation. You recall buying trendy clothes, learning the slang, trying to keep up with technology or the latest fad, desperate to prove you were still with it. But somewhere along the way, you discover that youth does not admire imitation. What they respect, even if they do not always show it, is authenticity, the kind of wisdom that comes only with years. You have lived through wars and peace, heartbreak and joy, change upon change. Why seek validation from those who have not yet walked your road? You have nothing left to prove. Instead of being a mirror, reflecting the world's fleeting values, you can be a lighthouse, shining quietly, steadily, drawing others in, not with noise, but with presence. And as you walk through your home, maybe you see it with new eyes. The closets stuffed with old clothes, the attic filled with boxes of memories, the shelves lined with trinkets and keepsakes, gathered not always out of love, but out of a quiet fear of letting go. You realize slowly that holding on does not bring peace. It brings clutter in your home, your heart, your mind. Letting go is not about loss, but about freedom. The memories that matter most are not in boxes, but in the stories you share, the laughter you remember, the love that lives on in others. Each object you release, each grudge you let slip away, opens a little more space for clarity, for movement, for breath. The less you carry, the more peace you invite. Of course, you have lost much over the years. Friends, perhaps even family, gone ahead of you. The strength in your legs may not be what it was. Roles you cherished have shifted or faded. It is tempting to dwell on these losses, to build a small house in the shadow of grief and take up residence there. But grief, you learn, is a season, not a home. Living in the past blinds you to the beauty that still lingers. The warmth of a cup of tea, the way the garden still grows, the sun that still finds your face. Life continues to speak softly if you are willing to listen. Honor what is gone, but cherish what remains. Let loss shape your compassion, not your identity. You begin to notice, too, the places you visit, both in the world and within yourself. With time, you learn the hard-earned wisdom of choosing where to go and where not to return. There are places, physical, emotional, spiritual, where you are not respected. Maybe it's a family gathering where your opinions are dismissed, a friendship where you are spoken to with condescension, a group that no longer listens when you speak. In these moments, dignity becomes essential, not optional. You have earned the right to walk away, to choose peace over conflict, respect over familiarity. You are not too old to set boundaries. In fact, you are too wise to accept less. Then there are the gatherings, the invitations offered more out of pity than genuine desire for your company. Perhaps you find yourself attending dinners or meetings where you are merely tolerated, where your presence is managed, not celebrated, where you are included because of obligation rather than joy. After 70, your time is too precious to be spent in such places. Spend it where your name is spoken with joy, where your story is honored, where your spirit feels seen. You are not a burden, but a blessing. Surround yourself with those who remember this truth. And finally, you come to understand the futility of returning, again and again, to the wounds of the past. Too often, we revisit old pain, convinced that if we just examine it one more time, we will finally find peace. But healing does not come replaying the wound. It comes from releasing it. You do not owe your pain anything. You have already survived. Let the memory rest. Let the scar close. The past has taken enough of your time. Do not let it steal your future too. In these quiet realizations, you find a new kind of awakening, not a fading, but a refining. You see that this season of life, so often misunderstood by others, is in fact the most meaningful chapter yet. Here, in the gentle hush of simplicity, in the wisdom earned through years of living, your soul begins to shine brighter than ever before. Let go of what weighs you down. Speak only what brings peace. Go only where your spirit feels free. And so, each day you rise, not with the regret of what is gone nor the fear of what is to come, but with gratitude for the moment you are given. You smile at the sunlight, listen to the laughter of children nearby, feel the steady beat of your own heart, and remember, you are not too old, you are not too late. You are exactly where you need to be. Aging, you realize, is not a loss, but a legacy. Your peace is your power, and your story is still being written, one precious day at a time.